What's good, everybody? It is your boy Tony the Savant back again. Hope everybody's having a good to great day, man. Good morning, good afternoon if you're in my time zone at this current uh, time of the stream. Good evening, depending on when you pull up to the video. We got some bombshell news to talk about because I feel like this particular news could rock the NBA, man. I'm gonna be 100. This could rock the NBA as investigating this situation. This could lead to felony, some felonies, some serious fines, some government interference. But nonetheless, man, if y'all don't mind, this is a business. Y'all mind swinging by the platforms, Instagram, Tony the Savant, Twitter or X, whichever one you call it, Tony the Savant. Facebook, Tony THEE Savant. And of course, right here at the YouTube, the hub, the home, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel. But let's get right into it, man. As Jontay Porter, as the most recent update I've heard about this situation is not with the team right now. Now he's not like excommunicated from the Toronto Raptors or anything like that. But as of what's today's date? March 26th. He is not traveling with the team and has not been, I believe, the past two games. I believe the article said, but that's not the meat of the story. The meat of the story is apparently this dude, essentially some random role player, uh, has made a lot of people a lot of money via parlays and sports gambling. I believe uh, it was DraftKings, this particular um, gambling network, I guess you want to call it. I'm gonna be upfront, y'all, man. I'm not a gambling person myself. I made a video about this, covering the JB Bickerstaff, the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers basketball team, as he had voiced his opinion about sports betting, as it has impacted his coaching, his personal life, professional life. Um, he said that in the most recent game, the Cavs were up 10 points, and fans in Cleveland were yelling at them to keep the starters in. This was like 10 points into the fourth quarter, 40 seconds left. You know, about that time you start getting your starters off the court. Well, those people in the stands apparently needing the Cavaliers to cover some spread of 11 points and literally threatening Coach Bickerstaff to keep the starters in so that they can make money. I'm just of the impression this is getting out of hand. You know what I mean? As a person that's not a gambler, somebody that does not participate in this particular aspect of sports, it just does not make sense from the top to the bottom. Now, if you are a person that participates in these activities, you make money on it. I'm not here to hate on you. That's not the point of my rant. The point of my rant is that this thing can become bigger than sports, and there's a reason why sports and or at least betting has been essentially banned from sports. Now we all know that it was happening underground, and people do their thing on the side in the streets, betting on games. That's what's up. That's whatever. But when you say legal betting, you're inviting all kinds of turmoil and drama, and whatever. You got to get what you pay for. But nonetheless, this kid Jontay Porter, who is the brother of uh, Michael Porter Jr., a member of the Denver Nuggets, the most recent NBA champion, defended NBA champion, Denver Nuggets. His brother, I'm not even gonna hold you, bro. I did not even know this dude had a brother in the league, let alone didn't know he had a brother Definitely did not know you had a brother playing basketball actively in the league. That's my fault. That's my fault, y'all. But apparently, this dude, he's on like a two-way contract. He's not a big, component of the team or a big name player that like that. So it just drew even more suspicion as to how he was making sports bettors so much money. And there was two cases. I believe they said it was like March, a game in March, and then a game in January, where he, uh, there was like some kind of over or under. Now again, I'm not familiar with the language. I've heard people talk about it, and I understand to a degree how this thing goes. But again, as a person that doesn't participate in this particular aspect of sports, I want to be respectful. So I'm just going with the general terminology. He it was an over and under, and apparently he hit on his particular line of bets, and it made a lot of people a lot of money unsuspectingly because this is a role player. And if LeBron James made you a lot of money, that would make sense. If Steph Curry made you a lot of money, Kevin Durant, one of the big name guys that get a lot of production on the court, that makes sense. But this dude was making a lot of money and doing it in a suspicious manner. As far as allegedly, nobody's been found guilty of this, especially Jontay Porter, but allegedly, leaving games early with injuries, uh, missing shots and stuff, not saying on purpose, but dude would get a certain number of rebounds and certain number of assists, and whatever statistic they put up that particular night, it would be beneficial to the risk and excuse me the betting line. So it was making a lot of money for a lot of people. Apparently, I believe it was DraftKings. They got wind of this because, of course, they got people that study gambling. This is another thing about sports gambling I don't get. Uh, that you actually have people in place on payroll to study and investigate people cheating. Like just literally, just you got people on payroll just to watch people that cheat. It's ridiculous, man. That's more stress than I want. I feel like it's a waste of resources. But nonetheless, you gotta, say thankful, be thankful for them, I guess, because if they didn't have these characters in place, then I guess no one would even notice that Jontay Porter had these irregularities going on, as far as his production on the court and the money he was hitting on, uh, or the money he was making uh, for these betters. DraftKings apparently noticed their irregularity. They reported to the NBA, and now the NBA has a full investigation going on with the Toronto Raptors. As you can see in this particular article that I pulled up, the Raptors reacted to Jontay Porter's gambling investigation in a way that very much so concerns me. It's just a part of our sports now. I don't like that, man. I'm gonna be 100. I don't like that. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't like that. Because when I first started watching sports, I don't know if y'all remember this guy, Donahue, I believe it's Tim or Tom. I forget what his first name, but Donahue, Donahue. This dude was found to be betting on basketball games. I can't recall because I was a little kid when this all came out. I remember being like 8 years old, and it was a big old thing, on ESPN, and just the talk in the barbershops of this character right here betting on sports, and it just felt like the dirtiest thing ever. Me playing my little league baseball, the disdain that I heard, my coaches, my dad, and my peers, everybody is. This dude was the quote unquote black sheep of the NBA, and so he was involved in a big old scandal, and it all centered around sports betting. So it just baffles my mind. When you had a guy like this, and this ain't the only case, y'all. Like this is, I'm just giving you a personal experience that I had with sports betting and why I have a disdain for it, even on a subliminal, level, if you will. Maybe if I got into it and made some money on it or whatever, my opinion may change on it. But I'm just uncomfortable with betting on sports. If I go to Vegas, we play some cards or something like that, and your boy makes some money. I'll do that. As far as gambling goes, I'm not uh, I'm not anti gambling. I'm anti gambling on sports because sports, I feel like, for it to have the purest and most uh, precious component of it, which is the competitive factor, you can't add in incentives and all this kind of stuff. As we've seen with the in season tournament this season with the NBA. The NBA had the in season tournament and was incentivizing teams to run up the scores and keep their keep their starters in and all this nonsense. And, I feel like that some teams are paying for that now as far as being gassed out. You got some injuries, that have arisen. Most notably with Joel Embiid. So it's just a lot of moving pieces when it comes to this stuff, man. Because the NBA sets a bad precedent, even in as far as their marketing and their ideas. Like, what about running up the score is beneficial to the product, and overworking your employees essentially. None of that makes sense. But you see, the NBA is about it, and I can only imagine what kind of dark figures and characters behind, making big money bets on the games are into it. But now we're getting local Joe Schmoes threatening basketball coaches and basketball players. You know what I mean? I also read a story about Tyrese Halliburton. You know, him having some trouble with fans and them threatening him because he's not hitting the over or under on his particular betting line that night. It's just ridiculous, man. And in my video talking about the JB Bickerstaff situation, I just my opinion of it is that if you're gonna do this stuff, man, keep your emotions out of it. Put your money in it and get your emotions out of it. Learn how to bet money unemotionally, because I deem it foolish in the first place. Even on some going to if I go gamble at the casinos or something like that with my buddies, it's on a very, what should I say? It's my throwaway money. It would not be anything that I'm concerned about. But it seems to me that people that be putting this money into the sports betting, all this, it seems like they putting their rent money on the line. You know what I mean? They grocery money on the line or something, because there's too many emotions for me. So if you're gonna be involved in this, keep your emotions out of it. Because when you get emotionally involved, I feel like these are the dudes that are threatening coaches, threatening coaches and players, and just doing too much. You know what I mean? Giving sports betting a very dark name, a very bad name. I should even just keep it on the low. Just keep it basic. Because when I first heard about legal sports betting, I thought it was the most uh, horrible idea. Which is why I titled this live: "Is the NBA being ran by children?" You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? Who's making these decisions? There's no way you can have any kind of foresight and said NBA betting, or excuse me, sports betting, because all of the sports leagues are kind of adopting this betting thing now. There's no way you could have thought in your head that this would have been beneficial in any way long term. You know what I mean? Now you got, like I say, Joe Schmoes threatening basketball coaches. This is the story I was talking about earlier with JB Bickerstaff being threatened by gamblers. Cavaliers coach says sports betting in the NBA has crossed the line. And in this article, JB discusses how, uh, you know, like I said, he had one game where the Cavaliers were up 10 points, and apparently the betting line for that day, because they released the betting line right before the game. So, of course, these fans, the anxiety of the game is raised even higher, because you have just been noted. You're just getting instant information right before the actual, the opening of the market, if you will. So I used to work in the Chicago Board of Trade, and I seen how stocks work. I kind of get the idea of how this betting thing works because I know how stocks work. But in another breath, is just when you are adding in the competitive factor, when you're adding in the Darwinism of the strongest survive. I don't get how you can be upset with the betting. The best man won that day, and if you put your money on the best man, then it is what it is. You should be able to walk away from the situation. Whatever. Like I say, it's a very confusing world, and how you can see this is getting out of hand. Um, the culprit that threatened Coach Bickerstaff and his family has been detained. Coach Bickerstaff elected to not press charges, which just tells me it's probably some nerd, some lame dude, you know what I mean? Some kid, probably even young punk on his computer making threats that he can't fulfill, thankfully. But in the same time, it's just out of hand. Pure ridiculousness, man. I got better things to be talking about, you know what I mean? But this is an alarming issue. Like I said in my video as well, I want to start it off in a very serious manner because when you're talking about threatening people, when you're talking about threatening somebody because of the job they do or the job they have to do, you know what I mean? It gets borderline kind of, crazy. Unless somebody's job is to violate your rights or your family or you know what I mean, bring harm to you, I think you should just, kind of ease up on it. I don't think uh, being upset about a basketball team losing or a particular basketball player not hitting the stat line you need them to hit. Like I say, man, I don't know. It's a funny line to cross. But like I said, when you read articles like this is where my opinion can't even in any kind of way support sports betting because again, like it's somebody's taking it so serious that they deem it necessary to make violent threats. This is crazy, man. This is crazy work. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. This is now. I wanted to get that Raptors article real quick. Just a part of our sports now is something that's on a weird line right now. Raptors swingman Ochi Agbaji said, "I feel like sports betting has always been around, but it hasn't been as popular since ever. So it's becoming more popular, and obviously, you're gonna have stuff like this, and it's unfortunate, but stuff like this is gonna happen, especially when stuff is so close. Like sports betting and gambling, and the sport itself is being crossed. You see it everywhere." And that's why I say, man, it's sad. It's sad, man. It's very unfortunate that this is where we're at. That these athletes have even accepted it. You know what I mean? Could you imagine going to work, seeing an employee? I mean, this ain't apples to apples at all, so don't take this comparison. But if you go to work and you see an injustice, and you still gotta, work through that injustice, act like you don't see that said injustice. Let's just say, for instance, it's an employee stealing every day you go to work. And I'm not saying it's cool to do it once or twice or nothing, but let's just say you let it slide once or twice. You see this fool doing it every day, eventually you're gonna feel like you gotta say something. Like, if not to the boss, to him. Like, come on, man. Come on, bro. This is crazy. But this is what these athletes that actually get into these sports leagues for competitive reasons. They see other dudes around here making money on the side, and I can only imagine, a dude like Jontay Porter who's on a two-way contract, who's your brother Michael Porter, who's an NBA champion and who was making $100 million. You know what I mean? And shout out to Ticket because he made a mention of this, but it's the fact of the matter that, bro, that 100 million is Michael's money. That's not Jontay's money. But if I see my brother balling out and he getting crazy money and getting crazy jewels, it's going to incentivize me to do what I have to do. to make crazy money. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difficult reality to live in. I'm not saying that Jontay is guilty or doing that at all. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I throw my allegedlys out there. As far as the article goes, the NBA has found no wrongdoing on Jontay's part, nor has I think the NBA is the only one doing the investigation. But it's just unfortunate that you read here's an NBA player right here saying that he sees this everywhere. He sees what this alleged scandal that Jontay Porter's involved in. This guy, who's an active NBA player right now, I'm not very familiar with him, but he's stating that he sees what Jontay Porter is going through or did or is being alleged of everywhere. So come on, y'all, man. This stuff is institutional. And that's why I just feel like, man, at this point, as a sports journalist, I'm just bringing awareness to it. But I definitely feel like there's a responsibility among sports fans because when I'm covering boxing, I try to make a pledge to boxing fans to stand on business, stand on something, because these dudes will take us serious if we unify in that way. Uh, it's amazing what the powers that be will do if people start unifying and demanding, hey, this is what we want, and we gonna get it. That power, that we the people, power to the people. That's a real thing, man. That's a very real thing. But to a degree, I feel like we should go back to the old world of keeping sports underground, keeping the mafia. You know what I mean? Of course, it still can be a prevalent and dirty part of the game. I'm not naive, but how things are going right now with legal sports betting, I feel like things are on the trajectory of getting out of control. You know, we already got, like I said, I don't see why JB Bickerstaff would lie about this situation. I don't. I don't see why he would make up that his family is getting threatened. He's getting, well, he didn't say that. He said his family is being impacted. I want to be a responsible journalist. He said his family has been impacted by sports betting. So that could be anything, you know what I mean? Because it ain't got to be a direct threat. Again, too, I want to report that the culprit that made this that made this impact has been caught, and Coach Bickerstaff elected to not press charges. So, if that's me on some real ninja, you know what I'm saying, some real nigga stuff, that just tells me it was some lame, some nerd, you know what I mean, making threats behind his computer, probably making money on sports betting. A dude that probably never played sports, but making money on sports, and we're talking about Cleveland, so it had to be a lane. No, I'm just playing. Shout out to my boys in Cleveland, man. Anybody rocking with me in Cleveland? I'm just joking on that note, but yeah, and still, like I say, this is a serious matter. I don't even want to joke at all, really, about this because, especially when it comes to money, too, people will do crazy stuff when it comes to money, man. I'm from Chicago. None, I don't like bragging or glorifying the Chicago lifestyle but I ain't seen dudes cross their family for money, cross their mama for money, and not no large sums of money, bro. I'm talking like $250. You know what I mean? So if dudes will cross their OGs for that little pocket change, because we know nowadays $1 million ain't a lot of money. If you got $1 million right now in 10 years, you're gonna need more money, if not before then. So let's keep it a dollar. But in the same breath, $250, bro, and your mama, bro, you cross your mama for that. So I can only imagine what these fools that's putting money on these sports betting. I mean, the dudes that I know that do it, they put a small amount of money, $1,000 or less. But they're also working men. You know what I mean? They also that's throwaway money for them, and that's what they decide to do with their money. I'm not here to judge or cast stones. I'm just stating that if you're going to be in this, I think you should find a way to do this and keep your emotions out of it. Put your money in, keep your emotions out. That's just my opinion. Because, like I say, nobody should have to go to work and be threatened or be, walking around on eggshells because the people that patron their business are, are on edge, if you will. It's not right. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine working in that environment. I couldn't imagine being a coach. I've coached before, little league sports, upwards to like 12-year-olds. And I can only imagine if people was betting on these little kid games, and I hear some parents in the crowd like cussing me out or threatening my life because they son got to make 8 points or they're gonna lose $8,000. Is like, bro, look here, bro. I'm just drawing X's and O's, bro. I didn't tell you to put no money on this game. I did not tell you to do that. So I should not have to deal with the repercussions of you making the decision to put your resources in a foolish position. Because again, I'll bet if we playing 2K, I'll bet you, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I'll bet on sports if I'm playing 2K. If I'm playing Madden, I'll bet you. I've made big money back in my college days and high school days too. You know what I mean? But back in them days, you know what I'm saying, when we was on the sticks all day, pause. That's crazy to say these days. When we used to play the video game all day, yeah, me and my boys would be betting. You know what I'm saying? We'd bet $5 a game. That was pretty much standard. And niggas would walk out of there with $60, you know what I'm saying? If it was a petty day, walk out of there with $300, depending on how many niggas showed up. Because, everybody think they can play 2K. Everybody think they good on 2K until they put that money up. But at the same time, yeah, man, I can only imagine. So I just wanted to bring some awareness to this. This is the real MVP episode 2 as well. I will be going live and having a post schedule. I posted a couple of my pre-recorders today, the pre-record pack. So tomorrow we'll be on a more of a regular schedule with posting. I got a lot of stories, a lot of stuff in the chambers. I just had to get some real life stuff out of the way, get some things accomplished. I'll be moving pretty soon to Idaho, so setting up some stuff out there. And everybody been asking me like, bro, what's in Idaho? And really nothing, just my wife and kids at this moment, y'all. But I'm gonna set some stuff up out there. We got some. Oh, y'all know me. I'm always working, man. I'm the only one that can get the job done. So, just wanted to bring some awareness to this story, man. And I'll be following up with this headline as well because, like I said, Jontay Porter is reportedly not with the team as of right now. Not because he's in any kind of trouble or anything. I just think that they're keeping him away from the team to keep all of the media, hoopla down. Because it's funny though, all the media noticing this, but nobody's talking about them PEDs. Once again, y'all are very irresponsible to this mainstream media, and I'm gonna hold them to that for the rest of my journalism career until we get some breaking stories about LeBron James's alleged PED usage. I gotta hold the lamestream accountable because everybody running around with this story. Everybody got, when Kyrie shared a link, everybody had something to say about that. Nobody had nothing to say about them PEDs. You know what I mean? Except the real ones in my network, in my peer group. You know what I mean? Shout out to them. So that's all I got for y'all on this one. Please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content. If you don't mind, swing by the platforms. Instagram is Tony the Savant. Twitter, Tony the Savant. Facebook, Tony the Savant, THEE. And YouTube, Tony the Savant, man. On the four corners of social media, doing the thug dizzle. So I appreciate the love and the support, all of the comments, all that good stuff, man. Got some more stuff cooking up for y'all. Episode 2. Be good, man. Get a goal accomplished today. You know my slogan. I'm the only one that can get the job done. So let me put in this work because the takeover will be live stream. Peace.